Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. Today we're in the kitchen and we're going to talk about buttermilk. It's kind of just like making your own bread with sourdough. You can make your own buttermilk, never have to buy it again. So let's take a look. Okay, when it comes to buttermilk, we're going to talk a few things about it. Now, uh, we always make our own buttermilk. We've been making it for a while, ever since we found out that we could make it. But first thing I want to talk about buttermilk when you buy it, and I don't have a store-bought container because we haven't bought it in quite a long time. But when you buy it, it's got an expiration date. Now, I'm not going to be uh, talking to those people that are, well, maybe I am. Those people that are worried when that expiration date expires. Now, on milk, it's a different thing. When it has an expiration date, now this is actually expiration date was uh, December 11th of last year. So, and it's already towards the end of January of the next year. But so this should be spoiled, but this was actually put in the freezer. When we buy milk, we get it on sale and we freeze it. And then whenever we need it, because normally we use it for very little for anything but buttermilk. We freeze dry milk, and then if we need milk in a recipe, we'll just use our freeze dried whole milk instead of buying that freeze dried no fat stuff that you get in the store. But anyway, back to buttermilk. Buttermilk have an expiration date, and a lot of people throw it out after it gets past that date. But unless you have some smell that's not like buttermilk, I mean, it would have to actually get contaminated with something to spoil it, then it's always good because buttermilk is soured anyway. The way it's made is you take it, they leave it at room temperature, and they culture it with bacteria, and that's what gives it that flavor. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about making your own buttermilk. This is some buttermilk we made. It's a nice, rich flavor to it. In fact, I think better than other. And if you want organic buttermilk, we'll just change and start using. You could start out with organic buttermilk, and then just buy organic milk to make your next batch, and you can have organic buttermilk, which would be a whole lot cheaper than buying organic buttermilk. But anyway, this is going to be cheaper than just buying buttermilk because what I'm going to use is I use a cup of our buttermilk whenever you start out with a new batch. And when you start getting your ones low, you can make a new one, or you can just wait until it gets to a certain point and use that same container and make buttermilk. But what we're going to do is we're just going to pour this all over the counter. We'll get most of it in there. Let me clean this up. Okay, that's much better. Anyway, buttermilk is made by culturing a bacteria. Now, you don't have to use a cup, but a cup is best when you're doing a half gallon because it gives you a lot of cultured bacteria already. And if you don't want a half gallon, if you don't use it that much, then you can make it in a quart jar. Just use a half a cup and then fill up your quart jar. And I say fill it up. Don't fill it all the way to the top because you want some room so you can shake this up. And I'll try to make sure I'm not looking at my camera and get my milk in here. But anyway, we fill it almost full. In fact, we might go just a little bit more. And then what we'll do, and I'm going to take this off, try not to make too big a mess around here. Okay. And then we're going to put a lid on it. Now, we'll just use a cannon lid here, and we're going to snug it up for this process. And we're just going to shake this up. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get that cultured buttermilk all throughout this container. And I recommend during the process, and this normally takes, to make this buttermilk, this normally takes roughly about, depends on the temperature, anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. And you can see how thick you want it. Now, a lot of times when you make this, you'll see some water separated on the top. That's not a problem, but you can shake it up and then you can see how thick it is. Right now it's real thin. This here appears to be about the same, but it's not. It's considerably thicker, but you could even make it thicker than that if you want a thicker buttermilk. Now you cannot make like Bavarian buttermilk this way. If you're one of those that really likes Bavarian buttermilk, it is cultured at a higher temperature, and the process is completely different than this. But this will culture into buttermilk just at room temperature, so there's no problem. Now this has been in the refrigerator, so it's going to take it a while to warm up. It's winter time, in the 20s outside today, and it's probably mid 60s in here, maybe a little bit higher, 70 degrees. So it'll take a little bit longer to culture. But what we're going to do is we're just going to leave this on the counter, and then we'll come back to it and see the finished product. One more thing that I want to mention that I didn't is don't leave your lid on tight while this is culturing. Just loosen it up a bit, just back it off some, and then the air can escape, because for one, it's going to warm up. That's going to cause pressure. But with the bacteria working and off-gassing and stuff like that, it could build up pressure and possibly break your jar. So make sure you don't put the lid on very tight. A lot of people, they'll even put a cloth and rubber band over it or something. But lid is fine. Just make sure it's not tight. Okay, it's 24 hours later, and now we've got a nice thick buttermilk, and it's ready to go in the refrigerator. But that's all it takes. This is one thing that anybody can make. Don't have to buy it at the store anymore. Save a lot of money, and it's an easy process. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, got some kind of information from it. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Of course, if you want to subscribe for more content like this, you know what to do. And share this video. Happy gardening.